sleds. They're super valuable out here in the woods, especially in snowy environments, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about choosing a sled because I have a lot of experience dragging this thing. We actually call it the Sled O Death here at Appalachian Bushman School, and there's a good reason for that. So let's start out like this. What are you going to use a sled for? So in snowy conditions it works because you can drag your gear behind you. It slides over the top of the snow. It's very easy to transport your gear. This works great for firewood, for going, you can collect a huge batch of small material and bring it back to camp. It does work out really, really well, and I use this sled a lot. You can use this in the summertime too. It works out just as well. It keeps stuff off your back. Again, you're just dragging it along. But a couple things I wanted to share with everybody, and I'm not really getting too much into setup of this, more on thinking about using a sled because it is a good, viable option. Kids sleds, you can buy them at Walmart, Target, anywhere like that. They're not built to do what we need them to do out here. The plastic is just not heavy duty, and I'll be honest, I had a couple of those sleds. They crack within days of getting them, especially when you put larger wood on. You go over something, it's a little uneven, they're gonna crack. So don't even waste your money on it. You really need to go to a sporting goods store like a Cabela's, a Gander Mountain, Bass Pro Shops, and look at the sleds. They're normally in with the duck hunting equipment because guys use these for duck hunting. So once you first go to a sporting goods store and look at them, there's different size sleds. If you listen to anything I say, whatever the smallest size is, get that. Now you might be thinking, well, I need a bigger one. You're probably not going to need a bigger one. This is the medium size jet sled. Is this a jet sled? This is a jet sled. And it's a good size. Okay, you can put a bunch of gear in here, but it's like a backpack. The bigger this, like bigger our backpack, the more crap we stick in it, and it just becomes overloaded, heavy, and crazy. So minimize that. It's not going to hurt the performance of anything. If you have to haul firewood, the next size might be a foot smaller, maybe a little bit narrower. You're going to haul what, 5-6 pieces less. It is definitely worth it. So definitely go with the smallest size that they make, and then it's going to be heavy duty. You're going to be able to use it year round. It's going to work out fine. A couple things though you want to think about is it comes with this short rope. Now I left this rope on. There's no problem with this at all. But what I did add was 2 front loops to mine. And these front loops are great because to drag this and you change the angle. Okay, you think if I'm dragging this, the angle of that rope compared to being way stretched out, when that angle changes, this thing is going to feel lighter. It's not going to be lighter because it's the same amount of weight, but it's going to feel lighter. So I put these loops on. I can then add longer rope. I can add on 2 pulling sticks. There's a variety of different things you can do. So always keep that in mind. It's a good option because you do want to add a longer rope on if you're trekking over distance. What I did go ahead and make that I never had on this sled, and I should have did it before, was I drilled out holes along the sled to put tie-out points. So these tie-out points, you can lay a tarp over all your equipment and tie it in. That way, on uneven ground, when this sled flips or turns, which it's gonna do, your gear won't fall out. Now, I never had, except maybe 1 or 2 times over the last 4 or 5 years of having this, I never had this thing really overturn. But you have to just watch where you're going with it. I never go in extreme crazy places with this. I stay mostly on the main trails. And then if I need to bust off that trail, especially for trapping or anything like that, grab the gear I need and bust off, come back to the sled. So it's that kind of thing. But go with the heavier duty sled, go with the smaller sled, and then your imagination is really what's gonna, take this sled to the next level. Freezing up here, it's cold. But these front tie-out points are definitely a must-have. So check it out, very worthwhile to have. This was Dan Wallach with Coalcracker Bushcraft. Stay in the woods. So I almost forgot, why do we call it the Sled O Death? We've been on several trips, me and some of my instructors and some of my good friends, trapping trips and just basic camping trips in the winter that we took that sled. We had so much weight in the thing that we literally thought we were gonna die from dragging it. It just becomes obnoxious. So that only feeds back to getting a smaller sled. But Sled O Death, hey, if you wanna go that route, get the biggest one you can.